Hello, my name is Kristian Bond, and I just recently took an MBA level course on organizational and group behavior. And one of the things we were tasked with at the end of the course here is to make a video talking about the different things we learned along the course and how we would apply them in our lives. And so I'm kind of shooting this video from the comfort of my own home. You can see my recliner in the background here. And a little bit of that has to do with the fact that I just want to make it comfortable. And anytime, I know I'm delivering professional information, but anytime I can make it more comfortable for the viewer, maybe you can kind of pull some things from this that you can use for your life as well. And then another reason is because a lot of what I learned I apply in my family life as well. So I'll have a little bit about that coming up through each section too. The first thing we talked about in the course is we talked about management styles and what type of manager we would like to work for and what type of manager we would be, or what type of manager or leader that we are. And mine are one and the same. So when I talk about the type of leader I would like to be, I would expect the same thing out of a leader I'm working for, and I would hope that they would do the same at any level of leadership. And the first thing is that I do is I really focus on training and development. I will only succeed. My success is determined by how successful my team is underneath me, my employees. And so I focus a lot on training and development, giving my team the proper tools to do their job and to succeed, and then helping them to push further. And so with that, we work on individual development plans for them, as well as as some career planning and creating a path for them if they're looking to move up. And even if they're not, there's still things that they can develop upon and grow. And again, things that help us at work also help us at home. And anytime I can do that for somebody, it's a great feeling. So in that respect, I always try to be a great coach and motivator as well, as I would want my manager to be. Think about some of the great coaches you've witnessed out there, whether watching them on the field, watching them with the team, or maybe even it's a coach that you've had experience with that when you were on the team. And I try to apply that same thing to the workforce. And then another thing is honest and direct feedback. I will give honest and direct feedback anytime I can, and it'll of course come from the heart. So in that same coaching aspect, I try and talk someone through something if they're having a challenge, and then I encourage them every time, whether they're facing a challenge or they're doing great. And that goes at all levels. I would want that from my manager as far as feedback goes, and I provide feedback to my team, and I want it back from them as well as to how I'm doing as a leader and anything they might need from me. That's how I'm going to grow as a leader. And the last part is engagement, being engaged in the business. I always make sure I'm engaged in the business at hand, in our business, as well as the company as a whole. I work for a very large company. So I try to stay focused on our task at hand when I'm working with the team, but I also communicate big picture items as well anytime they're communicated to me. And on that note, make sure we communicate and communicate often. Any pertinent information the team would need to know, and then that additional information they would like to know. We took a personality test. It's the Big 5 personality test, also known as the OCEAN test, OCEAN, standing for openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. I have my results here. I'm just going to kind of go over them real quick and then explain what that means or what it can mean. For openness to experience, I was in the 95th percentile. Conscientiousness, 94th percentile. Extroversion, 83rd. Agreeableness, 93rd. And for neuroticism, I scored a 7 in the 7th percentile. So what does this mean? Or what can it mean? Based on my results, I would enjoy novel experiences and see things in new ways. Very well organized and can be relied upon. Extremely outgoing, social, and energetic. You're getting a little bit of that now. Good-natured, courteous, and supportive. and would remain calm even in intense situations. So is that who I really am? For the most part, yes. However, I know people very well, and I also know how people are to act in certain positions, which is one of the key things that makes me a great leader, is being able to pick out where someone will succeed and where they'll fit in the best and where they'll enjoy working the most. But that being said, I take these, I don't want to downplay this test at all, but I take it with a grain of salt sometimes because I know what they're looking for in answers. So I can answer that way. And I'm also very consistent. So I knew exactly what they were looking for. I answered that way. And guess what? That's the results I got. So is this me most of the time? Absolutely. And I try to be that all the time. But you really don't know until you get face to face with a person, start asking them questions, find out who they truly are, and then look for results. Do they actually perform well? Can they apply all these things they say they are and all these things they've learned? That being said, I move into motivation. We talked about concepts within motivation. I don't want to discuss this too deep because there's a video I actually want to recommend in this situation. There's a website, TED.com. There's TED Talk videos, and it's TED.com. And the gentleman who did the video that I'm talking about here is Shawn Achor, I believe is how you say it. It's Shawn, ShawnAchor, Achor, I believe. There's a video that he does on TED.com, and he talks about the power of positivity. And it's great. Excellent video on how to always be positive and how to kind of retrain our brain to always think positive. And he talks about several different ways that we can do that at the end. And I don't want to steal too much of his thunder again, but I'll talk about a couple of those ways. So Shawn talks about different ways that we can kind of retrain our brain. And one of them he discusses is 3 gratitudes. Writing down or even just speaking 3 gratitudes each day for 21 days. And it clicks. It's almost like creating a habit. It takes that many days to form a habit. And so we're doing that with our brain as well with positive things. So 3 things I'm grateful for. These are my children. And this is Caleb, Carter, and Carly. And I mentioned my family earlier, and I love my family and I have a great time with them. And this is us this year. We finally got to take them all to Disney World, and it was an amazing time. And I mentioned that with motivation because it's key to remember that motivation isn't always money. Did I need money to take that trip? Do I need money to support my family? Absolutely. But what motivates me more than that is what I can do with my family in my time away from work. I love work, but I love spending time with my family, and that's what keeps me motivated, and I know it keeps a lot of my employees motivated as well. We talked a lot about communication and having open communication, and I already mentioned that a little bit in the beginning, that as a leader, we should always have open communication with our team, and we would expect open communication from above as well. And within the company, especially within a global company. But we also discussed choosing the proper medium in which to communicate. And with social media, a lot of times, we kind of do that wrong. Such as taking a selfie or recording a video in the bathroom. Not exactly the proper medium to use. Firing someone via email or text message. Probably not the greatest idea either. Most people can use common sense when creating messages such as that and communicating. However, just like those couple examples I just used, or say breaking up with a boyfriend or girlfriend via Facebook for everyone in your family to see as well as everyone else in the world, not exactly the best idea. And so those are things to keep in mind when choosing the proper medium to communicate. Anytime it's very important and you can make the effort to go face to face, especially if it's going to impact someone's life or life changing, such as medical information, anything like that. Face to face is always the proper way to go. The last thing we talked about is teams and groups, the differences between the two, and we also talked about the differences between, or preferences, I should say, of group or individual work. Within groups, we talked about the roles that some of them could use, such as the nurturer of the group, task-oriented employees, the organizer of the group, not always the leader, but sometimes there's someone who just takes on the organization for the entire group, and then the dysfunctional team member. And on the note of the dysfunctional team member, I want to recommend another video that really touches base on this. It's put out by the Employee Engagement Group, and the website is employeeengagement.com. And the video is called "Who's Sinking Your Boat?" It's like a 4 or 5 minute video, and my employer just recently showed it to us in a all salary employee meeting. It's a great video, and it talks about how detrimental employees who are not engaged can be on the business as a whole, and how important it is to keep them engaged, and how positive of an impact it can make when they are engaged. Another small point when we talk about groups and individual work, we had group norms are a good thing to have within the group, especially when you can get them all to agree to them, such as during a meeting, no cell phones out, or they're on vibrate, and when they do vibrate, you step out to check them. And taking your own turn to talk, letting the person talk, listening to them before you move to the next person, whether it's in a sequence of who talks next or you raise your hand, either way. My preference, of course, between individual and group work would be group work. Individual work, of course, is key. Everyone has their own part to do, but through groups, we can accomplish more. And we distinguish the difference between a team and a group is one thing we talked about, is distinguishing that difference. And in a team, they all hold each other accountable. So there's accountability among the entire team to get the task done. There's shared leadership as well a lot of times, so they're all leading the task. And then interdependence. So one of the greatest references for interdependence is when it comes to a team is a symphony. Everyone has their own sheet music, they have their own notes to play, but the entire orchestrated tune is based on this interdependence and how everyone performs together as a team. I want to end this video outside. Hopefully you can hear me. This is my new 2014 Chevy Sonic behind me here. I'll go inside to continue. I'm in my car for this reason. I came out to the car to say this. This is an industry average, and each vehicle on the road has about 1,800 parts and about 30,000 pieces when you count all the way down to the last screw. And to bring all that together from parts made within the company, parts made from suppliers, bring it all together in one plant and make this vehicle, make it run, make it reliable. It's a huge challenge. So if companies such as GM did not embrace a team concept the way they do, a lot of these things couldn't be accomplished, and they could not be accomplished to the level that they are now globally. And again, that goes for all automotive manufacturers. And I'm really looking forward to taking all these concepts that I've learned. Some of them I already knew, but learned them to a higher level. And I learned that even these concepts that I say I already knew, I wasn't necessarily always applying them or realizing where I needed to apply them. So it was a great class and a great experience, and I'm looking forward to using it going forward in my career.